Hello, my name is National Grand Chief Guillaume Carl, and I'm the Grand Chief. It's important to tell you I'm the Grand Chief, I'm the elected Grand Chief for the Confederation of Aboriginal People of Canada and the government of the Confederation of Aboriginal People of Canada. I'm going to take maybe 15 seconds and explain to you today why we have a government and why we have a confederation and why do we have the people, the members. So our confederation is structured on the top. That is the highest structure you can get, which is followed by the government of the Confederation of Aboriginal People of Canada that and have the Grand Council of Chiefs that take your messages to the Confederation to make them happen, make them work, and every year we have a General Assembly, as you know, and we provide a kit that this year was back to back because it was too thick. All the correspondence we receive, everything we do, everything we have from message from you is in there. It's brought up to the annual meeting, and then the continuation of the government and the Confederation is done. If you do have any questions regarding that, because sometimes you have, if you were raised in a normal city, well, that's not the way they operate more as a federation where they tell the people what they want. But that doesn't work, because how can you tell people what you want if you're going the other way? For example, the government of Canada owes a lot of money to a lot of people, and it has nothing to do with the Indians. However, when you want to look at what they have for national debt, you have to look at what they own. And our property is not included in that. That's why it is not our debt. It belongs to Canada and not the Aboriginals. Our general population is probably around 9 million off reserve. 9 million off reserve and 1 million on reserve. The ones that have decided to move from the forest, from our cities, from our way of life, to the way of life of the Europeans, especially the ones that spoke English, when they created in 1875 the reserves, obviously have abandoned the way of life that Native people do. If you do have any questions, you can go to our website, and our website is easy to obtain right on Facebook, or you can go to YouTube and look at these images, and then you can send your questions through Facebook, for example. Or you can call our office, leave your message there, and we are able to receive. All that has been put through to be able to be 100% sure that we are able to communicate the right information to you. For example, if you and your husband are lying, for example, together, it's only a matter of time before you die. But you know that the reserves, Aboriginal people, the real ones, don't lie. If you're ready for the question, you're ready for the answer. But all that has to do with the fact that we need to communicate together to be able to send you the real message of what we are talking about. The other document that is very important is the general information. All this general information is mostly correspondence that we receive from other people, and that is French and English, and I can't translate it, but you can read it, and it's a pretty big document, and I really realize that you can't read all that document in one shot. There's just too much information. But for example, people tell you that we're not recognized. Well, for example, the government of Canada gave us patent letters that they recognize us as the government of the Confederation of Aboriginal People of Canada. The Confederation of Aboriginal People of Canada was reinstituted in 2005, and the government was reinstituted in 2014. However, after they give us that, they take it away. So I went to court, I re-won it, and now you have the normal letters, the letters that confirm from the government that they do recognize our confederation. we exist, we're there. Now that that's been explained, and it's been explained in other books before, we need to move on to the next topic. Our next topic is the fact that we've had a communication this year, an annual meeting. We've had some all years, basically, that I was there anyway. So I need to thank the people that participated because the room was full, our phones were occupied. We were doing for people that are in Alberta and can't come in right away. You know what, we plugged them through Skype, we had them there, they were on the phone, and we were very successfully able to explain everything we've done through the documents that are in the annual meeting document that tells all the correspondence that went in and out, all the efforts that were done internationally, because this is not a national problem, it's an international problem that we need to take internationally to the UN to fix, because the problem is created by the government of Canada, and don't think for any reason that they're going to ignore us. But it gives us an objective at what to go and where to do, and who to talk to, and who to have the support, and which countries support us. All this is in there. We've had a presentation online, international presentation, that was done also on all the stuff we're doing. So it is important for me to tell our membership, our people, that we need to tell you what you're doing because you're telling us what you want us to do. And that's what we're respecting. So now that either that is clear, and if it's not, you can call me, or you can write us a document and we can respond to it. We need to move on now to the next topic. It is not a miracle that they hung Louis Riel. It is not a miracle either that they actually snatched him from Manitoba, where he was elected. They brought him to Saskatchewan that had nothing to do with Manitoba, and they hung him. They hung him, and in 2009, the government of Canada apologized for doing so because 98% of the Canadian population said that they mistreated, they killed Louis Riel for nothing. And Louis Riel was a elected individual that was in Parliament, so it means nothing to the government of Canada because they knew that was happening. They didn't try and stop it. Why am I telling you that today? I'm telling you that today because it is not a given authority that we can respect what the United Nations are saying. Article 3, that we have auto-determination, and Article 4, that we have our own government, which is called the Government of the Confederation of Aboriginal People of Canada. It is not either the fact that they're trying to imply you to pay their national debt, because it doesn't belong to us. Why is it that you don't have to pay taxes? Because it doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to you. It doesn't belong to anybody that's Aboriginal. Why would we be taxed when we're not supposed to? Why would the government of Canada tax its own population when it's not supposed to? If you read the reason that there's taxes, we've been out of that league for a long, long time. But it does not change the fact that we exist. It does not change the fact that we're recognized internationally and now nationally, because the government of Canada did vote and sent a letter that they do accept the resolution of the United Nations on the Indigenous rights in 2016 on the 15th of May. And they accepted that without any modifications. So if they accept it without any modifications, means that they recognize that there's two people here. There's the people, that the 9 million people that are Indigenous, around 9 million people, and there's the other people that are the foreign people that eventually sort of got here, and now they're living on the laws of our country. Why is that important? Because you cannot ask a poodle to be a wolf, and you can't ask a wolf to be a poodle. You can't ask them to live in the same way because they're different. And that's why we got the people that are our members to be recognized about submitting either their DNA or using the paperwork that was done by the religions to say that we were Native, or our communities are able to adopt in the same way that Canada adopts people, China, name it, in our own country to become Canadians. But who are the real Canadians? The Indians. And that includes us. Who are the other Indians? The Indians that live on reserve, and they are not our problem, because when the arrival of the Europeans came here in 1534, there was no reserves, and the reserves were created in 1875. And they were motivated to leave their environment and go on a reserve to live as non-native people. And that phenomena, that principle in your head has to be very clear, because it also defines where you go when you leave here. Because when we leave here, it doesn't matter the money we had, what it did. What matters is two things: what we did good and what we did bad. And what we did good, we have to apologize for the ones that do not see that, because they are not able to understand that. How can you be rich when you're poor? And how can you be poor when you're rich? Because the poorness is what they think that what you did good and bad and you bring with you. That's the richness. So our Confederation is a entity that is recognized on the other side and on this side as the legal entity that shows you how to prepare yourself for the last voyage. Having said that, every full moon we do a ceremony, a pipe ceremony, and so on. The ones that are trying to say that we are not right, I mean, they're allowed to their opinions, but it doesn't mean that their opinion is right. They can try and convince us that they live and they sleep on the moon, but we know it's not true. So we are not able to bring them about because they do not want to be brought about. That's another principle, another subject that has to be covered a bit later. But now, where are we now? Now we have a government that's trying to talk about having a relationship with us, which is not true. If it's not true, I mean, you can picture yourself with your husband. If you both lie to each other, you will part. Truthness is everything. If you don't have any truth, you have nothing. And why are the natives that are on reserve, the ones that are under AFN's authority, complaining? Because everything that was said to them was a lie, and now they're living that. But what is our future? We want our land back. We were never in a position to give the land, but we were never in a position to get it stolen from us. So, in the future, if we look at what happened before, and what I've talked with the government, and why the government's so upset with us, because everything they did was to take, degrade, steal, in Article 28 of the Constitution of the United Nations regarding Indigenous rights says, land that Aboriginal people own, used, or occupied, traditionally was taken, confiscated, degraded, damaged, whatever, have to be given back to us. And where they can't give it back to us, they have to pay us for it. Not AFN, not the Métis National Council, not the ones that are under the authority of the government. The only one that is not under the authority of the Canadian government, because it does not exist for us, is our government of the Confederation of Aboriginal People of Canada, and so on, and the people. So my reason for talking to you today is to say, number one, that we had an exceptional meeting. Number two, that is going very, very well, full speed ahead internationally, that we have countries that are supporting us, and that we have a group that is now able to send our 43 correspondents. I said to the government of Canada that they did not respond, and the reason they did not respond is because at the end of the day, they did not know that we were sending it out. But what is the basic needs of our members? It's our rights. And that was protected by the United Nations. I did say a message in French, but I elaborated a little more in English to know that what is the most important thing is the rights that you belong to and that belong to you, that make you a Aboriginal person more than anything else. So I want to thank you very, very much for listening. I want to say that we are receiving every message you send us. We are harassed by the government of Canada, the government of Quebec. It's not important. What is important is that our Confederation is now recognized internationally, and it is clearly representing your needs and your demands. So thank you very much. Miigwech, and talk to you very soon.